Okay, good evening, and thank you guys for joining me. I'm so excited that you have joined me for this practice. It's going to be um, kind of a slow strength flow. I don't want to call it a power flow because I don't move very quickly. I like to cue nice and slowly and intentionally, but there'll be a little bit of building of heat opportunity. So, of course, if that's not something you don't want to go too far with that, that's totally fine. We're going to teach to a basic pose, and then we'll add some complexity if you so desire. So, no worries on that. But you'll need your mat, obviously, something that you might like to sit on, um, or blocks if you'd like to work with them. We're not really going to use blocks much, but if you like to practice with them, collect everything that you like to practice with, and we'll get started here in just a minute or so. All right. I'll have you join me in a seated, comfortable position on your mat. I'm going to take my socks off. There we go. If you're sitting on a block or a blanket, maybe that's your comfortable seat tonight. I like to have my blanket underneath me. Let me know if you can't hear me too, please. Come off mute and let me know so I can hear you well. All right. I invite you now this evening to just take a breath in and sigh it out your mouth. Let's do that one more time as we're coming to presence here. Inhaling through the nose and exhale through the mouth. I invite you to close your eyes or soften your gaze while I read this little meditation mindfulness moment. We recently experienced the fall equinox, where the earth was balanced on its axis, and as a result, for one day we had just about equal daylight and darkness. The autumn trees remind us that letting go is part of the natural cycle in life. And as much as we try to be creatures of habit and routine, change happens. Learning to balance through the change is important. Giving yourself grace as you learn how to adjust in this season is important. Incorporating good habits to support ourselves can be helpful, but at the same time, it's not true that if something is good for us, more of it is even better. Balance is the key. So as you work on your mat today, I invite you to let go of things that no longer serve you. Just like the autumn leaves falling from the tree, I encourage you to let go of those things like negative self-talk, the idea of needing to perfect a pose. Maybe you have expectations for how your body is going to move or feel tonight. I encourage you to honor your body where it's at, trusting the Lord for what you need tonight in this moment. And I hope that you give yourself grace as you learn and figure out how to adjust each pose, finding that sweet spot between effort and ease. And may we take this practice off our mats and into our daily life as well. Taking a breath in and a breath out. I want to teach coherent breath pranayama. So it's an equal part breath. So honoring your body this evening, taking an inhale in and count how long it takes to fill your belly your ribs and your chest, counting that out, holding at the top of your inhale for just a second, and exhaling, feeling your chest, your ribs, and your belly deflate for that same count. So maybe your count is 4 or 5. I don't know how many is right for you. And I don't want you to get stuck in a moment if you're having a 2 and then a 3 or something like that. Go ahead and just go with it, inhaling for your count and exhaling for that same count. Inhaling and exhaling on your own for 4 breath cycles. As we think of this concept of letting go, sometimes we're carrying weight and worry on our shoulders. And I'm reminded of 1 Peter 5:7. Cast all your cares upon him, for he cares for you. So maybe you would like to make this your breath song, your breath prayer this evening. On your inhale, casting all my cares upon him. And on your exhale, for he cares for me. Maybe you just prefer to inhale and exhale on that equal breath. One more time in and exhaling. During the practice tonight, I invite you to use that breath prayer or just being mindful of your breath, bringing you back to your breath if you start to notice negative thoughts or distractions. On your next inhale, I invite you to reach your arms up overhead. And on your exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Inhale overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale one more time. Inhale up overhead. And exhale the hands, heart center. We're going to do a side bend here. So 2 side bends. So arms up overhead, reaching tall, sitting tall through your seat, through your crown of your head, bringing your right arm down alongside you and reaching with that left hand across the room. Making sure your left hip is anchored into your mat, breathing in and breathing out. Just taking a moment, maybe doing a wrist circle or 2. If that feels good, being gentle with yourself. And your next inhale brings you up. Exhale, let's go the other side. Anchoring that hip into the ground, reaching with the other hand and maybe doing some wrist circles. Bringing you back up to center. This time on our breath, we'll exhale down and then inhale back up in a flowing motion. So exhale over to the side, inhale back to center, exhale over to the right, inhale back to center. One more time, exhale over to the left, inhale back to center, and hands down to center, heart center. Taking a breath in, noticing how you're feeling. Enjoying your breath. I invite you to bring your arms up overhead one more time And then we're gonna twist over to the left. So bringing your arms down, sitting up nice and tall, and exhaling over to the left. Breathing in and breathing out. Nice and gentle. Inhale, back up to center. Exhale, bringing it over to the right side this time, sitting up nice and tall again. And then maybe you're stretching a little further. Inhaling back to center, and then our breath. We'll follow our breath, letting our breath lead us. So inhaling here, exhaling over to the left. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling over to the right. Inhaling back to center. One more time each side, over to the left on our exhale. Inhale back to center. And over to the right on our exhale. Inhale back to center. Hands to heart center. No. We're going to take the towel or the blanket or the block out from underneath us. Now, I invite you to come to a tabletop position. We're just going to do a few cat-cows. So our knees are under our hips. Our shoulders are over our wrists. And if you have any wrist issues, please feel free to come moving your hands just a little bit closer to the top of your mat so that you can decrease that angle in your wrist. So again, letting the breath lead us. Let's inhale with our chin up, belly comes down, tailbone is up. Exhale, tailbone curls under, spine is round, chin comes to chest. Inhale, chin comes up, tailbone up. Exhale, tailbone down, chin down. Do 3 more on your own breath, and then meet back in table. Nice and gentle. Articulating the spine. It's so nice. And so now from here, we're going to tuck our toes under and press up just so that we can walk our feet underneath us and come to stand. So bending our knees, being very gentle, coming up, coming to the top of our mats. Standing up tall, noticing our feet, making ourselves aware of our foundation. Our balls of our feet, our heel, all rooted into the ground. Our knees are soft and responsive, not jellyfish, but nice and responsive, not locked. Hips are over our knees. Our shoulders are over our hips. And our head and ears are over our shoulders. So we need to bring our shoulders back and down. That might be helpful. Standing here in a mountain pose. I like to wiggle my toes just to check my balance here. Feeling strong, feeling tall. We're going to inhale our arms up overhead as we begin our sun salutations. Hands to heart center. One more time, just like that, arms up overhead. And this time we'll forward fold down. Inhaling, halfway lift with a flat spine. Exhale, plant the hands on the ground and step back to plank. Taking a breath here and then bringing your knees down, untucking your toes and exhaling all the way down to the ground. Inhaling up for baby cobra. Exhaling, pressing ourselves back to downward facing dog. Pedaling out our heels here. Check and see how we're doing. Pedaling out our heels. Lovely. Feeling a nice long line of energy from our hands to our tailbone, from our hips to our heels. Inhaling here, and on your exhale, walk your feet up to the top of your mat in a forward fold. Halfway lift on your inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bend your knees, root down and rise up. Arms up overhead and hands to heart center. Taking a breath here, being mindful of how you're feeling. We're going to do 3 more rounds of sun salutation A. So on your next inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands and step back to plank. Inhale here at the top of your plank, bringing your knees down on your exhale, then lower your belly and your chest. Bringing your body and chest forward for baby cobra on your inhale. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Taking a couple breaths here, pedaling out if necessary. On your next exhale, walk your or step your way up to the top of your mat in your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bend your knees, rise all the way up, arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank. Inhaling here at the top, and then on your exhale, bring your knees, belly, and chest down. Inhale, baby cobra, heart leads the way. Exhale, back to downward facing dog for 2 breaths. On your next exhale, walk your feet back to the top of your mat in your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bend your knees and rise on up. Arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. One last time. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, down to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank, and inhale here at the top of your plank. Exhale, bring your knees down, belly and chest. Inhale for baby cobra. Exhale, press back to downward facing dog. Pedaling out your feet again if necessary. What do you need to let go of? You notice yourself being distracted or being negative with yourself? Let that go. Inhaling here, and then on your exhale, walk your feet back up to top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bend your knees and rise on up with arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Taking a moment, maybe closing your eyes, checking your balance. I like to wiggle my toes when I check my balance. Making sure that I've rooted it in well. Bring to God any distractions, allowing things to just fall away. being here with your breath. This next sequence we're going to do is a warrior sequence. We're going to add some other things though along the way. So if you'd like to do that, you're more than welcome to. If not, that's totally fine too. Honoring yourself and where you are, where your body is today is so important. So we're going to start inhaling our arms up overhead. And on our exhale, we're going to sit back into chair. And I encourage you to look at your toes. Make sure you can see your toes in chair. Reaching back with your tailbone. Arms can be up overhead at your heart center or even at your hips. Sometimes that's more comfortable for me. Taking a breath here. And on your exhale, standing back up. Your weight is in your left foot now. Your right toes are on the ground, but your heel is up. And we're going to take that right foot. We're going to bring it all the way back to a high lunge. Checking your hips here. Making sure that your pelvis is not tilting forward or back, but that it's neutral. So your tailbone reaches down, the crown of your head reaches up in this nice high lunge. Taking a breath here. And then we're going to pivot to warrior two. So our back foot, that's a little bit more helpful. Our back foot is parallel with the back edge of our mat. Our front knee is bent, toes are pointing forward, arms are out in the future and in the past, but we are right here in the present. Hips and shoulders are facing the long edge of your mat, and you're looking over your front fingertips. Taking a breath here, feeling strong, nice long spine. We're going to flip our front fingertips and we'll reach back and up for reverse warrior. And then on your exhale, coming down, forearm to thigh, and then reaching overhead with our back arm. Inhaling back to reverse warrior. And exhaling, extended side angle. Inhale back to warrior two. And then we'll windmill our arms and pivot our back foot so that we are in a low lunge. And then we'll bring our back foot up to meet our front. So we are in forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bending your knees, rising all the way up. And hands to heart center. So we did that on the right side. Now we're going to do that on the left side. So at the top of your mat, inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to sit down in our chair. And your hands can be either at your hips, your heart, or out in front of you. Standing back up on your inhale, placing the weight into your right foot. We're going to kickstand that heel on our left foot. And then when you're ready, lifting it up and reaching back so that you're in a high lunge. If you need to heel toe your front foot a little bit out to steady your stance, sometimes that's helpful. Checking your pelvis, I'll check, so that your tailbone is down and your crown is reaching up. Inhaling here. And on our exhale, opening up to warrior two. Back heel is parallel with the back. Front knee is bent. Knee is tracking over that pinky toe so that your front hip is open. Strong arms. Oh, lovely. Flip that front hand, bringing it back for a reverse warrior, bending into the knee. Exhaling arm to thigh, reaching overhead with our left arm. Inhaling back to reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale back to warrior two and smile. You're doing great. Now we'll inhale and revolve our hands, windmill our hands back to the front of our mats. On an exhale, bring that back foot up to meet your front foot, so you're in forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, nice flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bend your knees and rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Okay, next time we do this, we'll start on the right side this time. So we did left, now we'll do right. Okay, inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, sit back into your chair, checking your toes. Inhaling back up. This time, if you'd like to bring your knee up higher, you're more than welcome to. Otherwise, just keep your toes on the ground for just a moment, and then we will reach back with that right leg to our high lunge. Inhaling here, and then on an exhale, we will open up so that we are in warrior two, checking our hips and shoulders. Inhaling up for reverse warrior. Exhale, arm to thigh, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, back to warrior two. And then windmill those arms back down to a high lunge. Bringing that back foot up to meet your front foot in forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend your knees, rise up, arms overhead, and exhale back to heart center. We'll do this again. Inhale, arms up overhead, sitting back into chair. Inhale, back up, and either kick standing your toes or bringing your knee all the way up. And then back, bringing it back on to your mat for a high lunge. Hips are facing forward, nice long spine. Inhaling here and then exhaling, opening up to your warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, back to warrior two. And then windmill those arms to the front, bringing that back foot up to the front, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bend the knees, rise up with arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's just take a moment to take a breath, check in with our body, see how we feel. We have this one more on each side, and we're going to add one more layer of complexity if you'd like. If you do not want to do it, no worries. Taking a moment, checking our foundation, casting all our cares upon Him, for He cares for us. And your next inhale, bringing your arms up overhead. Exhale to chair. Inhale, bringing your knee up. And if you'd like to do warrior three, you're more than welcome. If not, you can go straight back to a high lunge. We'll all meet here in high lunge. Inhaling here, exhaling, opening up to warrior two. Inhaling, bringing your arm up for reverse warrior. Exhaling, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Extended side angle. Inhale, back to warrior two. And bring your windmill arms down to your low lunge. Bringing your back foot up to meet your front. In your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend your knees, root to rise, arms overhead, and hands back to heart center. That side. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, chair. Inhale, bringing your knee up. Again, option for warrior three or go straight back to your high lunge. Taking a breath in. Opening up then on your exhale to warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Back to warrior two on the inhale. And exhale, windmill your arms back down to the front of your mat, bringing your back foot forward to meet your front and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bend your knees, root to rise, arms up overhead, and bring your hands to heart center. So lovely. Well done. Now, because it's autumn, we're going to do some chair pose. So, I know we've done a little bit of balancing to warm things up, a little bit of leg movement, so hopefully this will feel good. Choose a focal point in the room that's not moving. And your hands can either be on your hips, at heart center, and or at your like full expression with the branches and leaves. So we'll start with the weight in our left foot. We'll start just basic tree here at the bottom with our knee out, perpendicular to our body, making sure, I need to recenter myself here. So making sure you're steady stance. Then you kick over. And if you'd like to bring it up to your shin, you're more than welcome. If you can and want to, bringing that up here to your thigh, that's great. Either way is your tree for today. Just not on your knee joint. We just want to protect our knee joints. So don't put your foot on your knee joint. Pressing into your thigh and your thigh pressing back will help steady you, or into your shin if your tree is lower. Breathing here. It's okay if you're a little shaky, the wind blows trees, so makes us stronger. Last breath here. And release out of that pose. Very gently, intentionally. So lovely. Wiggle out a little bit. We'll get set up on the other side. So we'll put our weight into our right foot. And we'll kickstand that left foot, knee facing perpendicular out, that our hip is nice and open. And bring your foot rather to your shin, or we'll see if I can do it on this side. I usually can't. Today I can. Honoring your body wherever it's at. I usually can't do this, so If you can do it, great. If not, that's fine too. Wherever you are at today, finding that balance point, casting all my cares upon him, for he cares for us, cares for me, he cares for you. Breathing here. And gently release out of that. And shift the legs out. So nice. Okay, we are going to come down to the ground and the table for just a second. We'll come back and press back into child's pose. We're going to stay in child's pose for just a few breaths here, maybe six breaths, not a few, 6. I invite you to do that and just enjoy your breath. Notice where you're breathing. Your hands can be out in front of you. Maybe you prefer to bring your arms alongside you, like this. Whatever is comfortable. If you need a block under your head to help prop that up, please feel free to do that. So in child's pose, taking inventory of how we're feeling. We've just done a whole lot of leg work. Breathing through. And here I invite you to thread the needle. So while you're in child's pose, you take your left arm and you'll thread it through and under your right arm so that you can be resting on your shoulder. Maybe your head is on the ground. Maybe you need to prop it up with a blanket or a block if that's comfortable. Your right hand can be out in front or pressing. You can even bring that arm around to your back if that feels comfortable. Taking a breath here. Settling into this for just a few more breaths. Finding that sweet spot between effort and ease. And then taking your right hand right next to your face and pressing up so you can gently release out of that pose. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So taking your right arm this time and bringing it underneath your left, setting up your head if you need to. Moving your left arm either further away, closer to you. You can even bring it across or the back of your body if that's comfortable for you as well. Taking that left arm, that hand, and bringing it toward our face so we can press ourselves back up gently, intentionally. Wonderful. I invite you to come to a seated position. We'll do some stretches this way, so I don't encourage you to use a seat bolster or a block at this point. So sitting in staff pose, nice and tall through the spine, through your neck. Breathing in here. And on your exhale, walking your hands forward or a seated forward fold. Just until you feel sensation. And as soon as you feel sensation, I encourage you to just stop and take a breath here. And then maybe on your exhale, if you would like to, your body may be ready to stretch a little further. Our nervous systems will stop us from doing things that could potentially hurt ourselves. So by waiting and giving ourselves a breath before going deeper into a stretch allows our bodies and brains to communicate and say, this is a safe move, we can do this, we're not going to hurt ourselves. Inhaling and exhaling, enjoying the stretch. Inhaling, bringing yourself back up nice and slow, intentional. Exhaling here at the center. We'll do a wide seated fold now. So wherever you are able to, your legs are comfortable. Again, I can't do the splits. If you can, more power to you. But wherever you are at, that's where you need to be tonight. Again, we'll inhale to grow tall. And exhale, we'll walk our hands forward until we feel sensation. I almost feel it immediately tonight. So we'll stop here, taking another breath in. Growing tall, leading with our heart, not our head. We're going to just rest into this pose. You're more than welcome to grab feet, ankles, shins, whatever is comfortable for you, or just hands out in front. Letting go. I notice my muscles are tensing in my quadriceps, so I'm letting those go. Letting any tension in your jaw go. Breathing through. Inhaling slowly and intentionally back up to center. Bringing your legs together, and actually we'll bring our left leg out in front of us, our right leg we're going to bring in, just kind of playing that same position we did for tree. Although if your foot is on your knee at this point, that's okay because there's no pressure. So we're not pressing in or asking that joint to do more than it needs to. So we'll square our hips and shoulders to our foot, nice and tall, and then walking forward on our exhale, releasing those muscles, breathing through. On your next inhale, come back up to center. And we'll switch sides gently and intentionally. Nice and tall, leading with our heart, inhaling and exhaling forward. Inhaling back up, nice and slow. And we're going to go ahead and recline. Down, laying down. So I see that. There we go. And we can hug those knees into our chest once we're down here. And maybe you'd like to rock side to side to do a little massage for your back. Maybe not. Maybe that's you just prefer to hug those knees in, and that's just totally fine. I prefer to grab under the knee at the thigh versus holding on to the knee, just not to put any extra pressure on my knees. So this is where I'm at. Breathing into your back body, noticing where the breath is now. Casting all our cares upon him, for he cares for us. And then we'll tee our arms out, and our knees our feet can come to like a 90, our legs can come to like a 90, and we're gonna bring our knees over to one side for a spinal twist or reclined spinal twist. And we will stay here for a good few minutes, 3 or 4 minutes. So I invite you to just be comfortable. If you need any kind of support underneath your knees, maybe you take a blanket to bring under your knees, or a block, that could be helpful as well. Otherwise, I invite you to just close your eyes and rest, let it go. On your next exhale, bring your knees back to center and maybe give them a squeeze. Rocking back and forth if you choose. And coming to stillness. With your arms at a T and your legs at 90. Go ahead and bring those legs over to the other side this time. For another few minutes. Letting go of tension. Enjoying this. Noticing your breath. On the next exhale, bring your legs back to center. And give your legs a squeeze, rocking back and forth if you choose. And then I'll invite you to set yourself up for Shavasana. And by that, you may like to put socks on. You might like to, if you're barefoot, you might like to put something under your head or under your knees, maybe like a blanket over you or an eye bag over your eyes. Give yourself a little bit of comfort there. For setting yourself up so that you can enjoy an extended period of rest in Shavasana. And when you're ready, check and make sure you're good and comfortable. I had a student today that mentioned she has low back issues and likes to have support under her back. So maybe under your low back, that might be a good option for you. But setting yourself up to be comfortable so that you can fully release and let go. And as you lie here on your mat, I invite you to take inventory real quick and notice if there's any tension in your head, around your eyes, your forehead, your jaw, neck, shoulders, arms, wrists or fingers, your back body, your chest or pelvis, your hips, legs, knees, ankles, and feet. Letting everything just rest and melt into the ground beneath you for an extended time of rest in Shavasana. Bringing some movement back to your hands and your feet. Touching each finger to your thumb. Taking a breath in. Sighing it out. Making those movements a little bit larger. And rolling to one side. In a fetal position. Taking a breath or two here. Knowing that we can let things go. We can find balance. Thank yourself for showing up this evening. Press into the floor beneath you. And meet me in an easy position, your seated position. Taking a breath in, arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Thank you for joining me this evening. I hope this practice blessed you.